Ooh, baby, a triple. Ooh, baby, a triple. And I say a triple because this is like the third time I've started this. The third podcast I currently have running. I don't know at what point it becomes an addiction. It's not exactly an addiction. It feels more like throwing shit at the wall until something sticks. Is the phrase throwing shit at a wall, or is it throwing shit at a wall until some of it sticks? Is a terrible phrase. I don't know if I want to actually get into this rambling right now. I've got two paths I can go down right now. Either explain what the fricky hell I'm doing, or talk about the phrase throwing shit against the wall. I'm not a stand-up comedian, so I think we're going to explain what's going on here instead. When I say technically free, it's because I got what's the first one called? Fucking hell. Juicebox, the Juicebox, POD. And the issue with that is it's an entirely guest-based scenario. I don't know if you know. Well, I started that about 2 years ago, and I've probably got about 5 episodes. So that explains how difficult it is to get guests at this current period of time where you have sort of no appeal. It's pretty difficult. So that is very sporadic and occasional as to and when that can happen, and also no one watches it. But it's more of like no one. It doesn't. You know what? Let me stop shitting on myself. Till it sticks. See what I did there? I put two phrases together. This is we got that one, which is that I can't do it often, and the issue is I feel like I want to be actively doing pods, but if that's my only one, I can't, because like I can only do it when there's guests, and I feel like I'm not actually like working towards anything, so just mentally it doesn't feel right. The second one, Formula One pod, which I started like 5 races to go towards the end of the season, and I'll probably still carry on the next season, but it's just like I just don't want to sit here. I just talk about like stuff. Like I like Formula One, but not as much. So I'm just going to talk about stuff that's happening. Like recently, the FIA said like racers. Let me pronunciate. It fits in actually with what they said, but you can't have political statements. So you can't come out and say stuff like "Don't be racist." And the reason it's weird is because here I am talking about it. But the reason it's weird is because it's not like drivers were using free speech to say negative things. It's not like people ever really got up and wore shirts saying like kill the environment. Everyone usually just had very safe, standard political statements like, yo, global warming, don't litter, don't be rude. That's the type of shit people were saying, and they're like, no, this is getting out of hand, don't do that. But I'm not into F1 enough to talk about all these little things that are going on outside of just at the races and race weekends. So I kind of just put it on hold, and I thought, okay, so here again, I've got no daily pods going on. Well, weekly pods. So this is I kind of spoiled it. A daily pod, a podcast a day keeps the doctor away. In reality, though, it probably, it depends which way you can look at it. A podcast a day keeps the doctor away. It probably drives me more and more insane doing this a day, so maybe not. But at the same time, podcast is kind of like therapy in a way, or it can be therapeutic. So in that sense, a podcast a day keeps the therapist away, and we can't afford one of those. I don't actually need a therapist. I think, well, there's the argument that everyone could do with a therapist or could have one. Where I stand on that debate is I don't think so. I don't think everyone needs a therapist, and especially not if you're broke as fuck. Like, if you're broke as fuck, right, and you're going through shit, then if you then put the only rest of the money you do have into a therapist, it's probably not going to improve your quality of life when all your money is going on a therapist per hour, whether they help you or not. And that's just down to the individual whether that type of thing is going to help you. What I do think though is therapy should be for everyone, and you might get your therapy through a literal therapist, or you might get that through football or art or films or any types of creation or whatever you get it through. Just chilling with your friends who maybe don't like that they're your free therapists, but maybe that's the best thing for you. I don't know. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Podcast a day. So yeah, I'm going to try my best to do this every single day till the day I die. Maybe not. Maybe until like 5 years when I'm rich as fuck and I'm too busy smoking my cigar on a yacht. Then maybe I'll be like, fuck it, we ain't doing daily ones anymore. But until I'm fucking dirty rich on my yacht with my cigar, I'll be doing this daily. So yeah, like I said, probably till I die. So yeah, I just thought it's just an active thing. It'll just be good for me to like do it daily and just force myself to talk. And I feel like I'll only get better at filling up dead space, and my mind will always go somewhere. Like I'll get better at thinking ahead and thinking about the next thing I want to talk about. Because sometimes, especially I've noticed, like I've done like 5 of the interview ones. Let's hopefully not forget anyone right now. It started off with James. Can't remember his last name. I don't know if he ever told me his last name, so maybe I never forgot it. James vs Cinema was his like his channel name. Good guy, very nice guy. Also does as a director. Number 2 was Jules, streamer, all around internet kind of guy. And also like a VFX artist, or visual effects. I don't know if that's different. That type of medium. 3rd, I think, was Emergency. Yep, okay, I've remembered everyone. 3rd is Emergency, commentary YouTuber. 4th, Matt Colbo, comedic YouTuber, lots of skits, very very big on YouTube and TikTok, very funny guy, Canadian, so it makes sense. Most Canadian people are funny. Usually when I listen to a podcast, right, it's always Canadians. Is this offensive? I don't think it is. I'm complimenting people, not for the Canadian things what I'm about to say. Anyway, this group of people need some love after Kanye. Jewish people. A lot of the time I'm listening to a podcast, they'll be talking, I'm like, these guys are funny. Then they'll either come out of the closet and tell me that they're either Canadian, not tell me directly, but they'll reveal at some point when I'm listening, like episode 16, they'll drop that they're Canadian, or they're in like Toronto or Vancouver or some shit. I'm like, oh, this makes sense, but you're funny as funniness. Or that they're Jewish, and I don't know why. Jewish people are really good comedians, and they don't talk about well, actually they do talk about being Jewish a lot, but I don't know, there's just something about it. Or maybe everyone's funny and I just happen to find the humor that sits amongst Jewish or Canadian people. That's just my style. But I don't know, I feel like Canadians, Australians and English people, they're all kind of the same breed and they all kind of just get on. Or like English people are like bulldogs, an English bulldog, and then Canadians are like French bulldogs, and then like Australians are like terriers, like a little. Basically, they're similar breeds of animal. I didn't need to do that, but yeah, I thought a daily thing. It's only going to be, and nothing like an hour. And it's what difference to my life is it if I sit down here for 20 minutes a day, every day until I rot in a coffin and I'm dead. It'd be really sad if I only get to, if I get to like 4 days and I do die. Because technically I did what I said I would do, but it would feel like I failed. Anyway, yeah, like it's 20 minutes out of my day. I can do it like every morning, even though right now it's kind of, it's black night time. So maybe I'll do it every evening. Don't know. Morning feels better though. It feels like a productive way to start the day. And then what? You just sit here, won't have too much editing. I've already, like last night I was up late because I was like, just do it now and get out of the way to make like I don't want to call it artwork, but you know, like the cover art. I know it's a bit pretentious or whatever. I'm not like a graphic designer, but the front page thing, where you know, the cover for the pod, intro, outro, so I can just put that on the end and the front of it. You know, stitch it's like a 10-minute job and it goes up. You know what I mean? Like it's no skin off my back. Horrible phrase. I don't like phrases that I can visualize. Again, I don't want to wander too far because I'm trying to get to like an immediate point, but then I keep saying stuff that makes me want to wander. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't like phrases that make me visualize something, and I don't like saying them in case other people get the same thing. And it's not a triggering thing. Like it's not like I'll die if someone does it. But certain phrases like "no skin off my back." If someone says that, I feel like most people maybe they just hear "no skin off my back" and they're like, "Oh, that's just a phrase that." Like it's kind of like, do you visualize things, images or words? Like if someone says "no skin off my back," does your mind just go to what it means? So if someone says "no skin off my back," in your head you think, "Oh, no, that's no sweat to me," or what, something. Or does your mind immediately think of like the top layer of your skin on your back, like being peeled, like doing like a kickflip on a skateboard and it's grazing your entire back on the floor? Or like you're just peeling off like sort of like a wallpaper, which is, you know what I mean? Like the other day I was on the phone and I was like, oh, maybe like, like the phrase like to dip your toe in. Like that's not something, that's not like a pain. It doesn't have to be a painful thing either. Just something I think is kind of like gross or nasty. Like, and then like a really cartoonish sort of toe dunking into water came into my mind as I said it. And I thought, don't say that phrase again. I'm probably, I don't know if anyone else, is that a thing that people are, no, probably not, right? But yeah, anyway, every day it's no skin off my back, and it shouldn't be too difficult, and I thought it's just a good way to feel like I'm not doing something in terms of this, so I'll do it, and why not? And it's not the type of thing I need to push or care about really people listening to it, although I'd appreciate if people did one day. Like it'd be kind of disappointing if I did this for like over 1,000 days, and no one did. But I don't really care. It's not really something I'm doing for any type of gain, really. That being said, that just reminded me of what I've been trying to get to this whole time, which is that I might, even though this is meant to be an everyday thing, the way I work is I might just on purpose or purposefully, I'll go with the second one, I'm just going to purposefully not do one probably tomorrow. So I purposefully miss a day because I don't want to get like 200 days in and it becomes like something I'm scared of, and so, like I'm living my life by it. Like I'm terrified. Like if I miss a day, oh, it's ruined and my streak's over, and oh my god, it's gonna hurt so much. And then when I miss it, I'm gonna be fucking depressed or something. It's like I remember at school, just by chance, I got to like a point where I realized I had like perfect attendance because I just don't really get ill. Like I get a runny nose like occasionally, but I don't like get ill. I don't get like a fever. I'm probably going to die tomorrow. Now I'm saying this, I'm just jinxing the fuck out myself. But I don't really get ill or like a headache. I never got COVID, or maybe I did, but I just no symptoms. I'm gonna die so hard. Let me stop putting this energy out in the world. I just don't often get ill, is what I'm trying to say. So I never really missed a day of school up until like pretty much from like the beginning of secondary to almost the end, and then it became something I was aware of, and it was like eating away at me, and I hated it. And then what I noticed is that I went into like sixth form, and like I missed one of the first days, and I just felt so free, mate. I could do what I want. I was in and out. I was getting in like 3 hours late. It was sixth form. I didn't even finish it. I dropped after a year. But the point is I just felt so much nicer. And you could argue, but if you start off with that mentality, you'll never succeed, because then you're always going to feel like you can just miss a day because you started off missing a day, which does make sense. But at the same time, I know myself, and the fact that I'm even thinking like this, like, makes me think I'm going to get to like 300 days anyway. Like, if I didn't think I'd get to 300 days, then this whole thing wouldn't even be an issue. Like, I wouldn't be worrying about it. But I know that I'm capable. I believe it's not that hard, guys. It's not like I'm climbing Mount Everest here. But I think I can do this every day. I'm so confident of that I want to purposely miss a day, so that in 300 days time, this time next year around Christmas, I don't. And on Christmas, that reminds me actually of why I'm doing this. Creativity. It comes in like bursts, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're lazy and you're doing nothing, and I kind of had that recently. And then sometimes out of nowhere, like 2 a.m, like last night or the night before, I can't remember when it was, it just hits you and you want to do stuff. And it happens to me a lot around this time of year as well, Christmas, because like New Year's resolutions, although I never hit my resolutions, and not for lack of trying, I just don't hit them. I still do them every year, and not like, actually that's not true. I don't do my New Year's, I don't make New Year's resolutions like to start in January. But once we get to Christmas, I become aware that a new year is about to start, and therefore I want to do something, so this time next year I can look back on it. Like Spotify Wrapped is great for that, for like artists or whoever you are, to like be able to look back and compare yourself and stuff like that. So when I get to like Christmas time, I'm aware that, the new year will be soon. But then and it's not out of just being like, why wait till the new year? I'm just going to start now. Like, you know, people always do that. Like, I really find that annoying. If someone says like, I got these New Year's resolutions, and they're like gassed about it, and someone comes up to them and they're like, why don't you just start now? Why wait till the new year? Start now. Start the grind set now. Mind, you know, some Andrew Tate-isms or whatever. And it's like, just leave them. They're going to do it in the new year. And if they stop by February, and if they stop going gym by February, fine. But at least they were healthy in January. You know what I mean? At least they tried. Whereas I'm like, it's not out of a lack of why it's more just because I'm excited. I'm like, I can't wait to the new year. I just want to get my New Year's stuff going on now. It's just that the ideas spawn because of New Year's resolutions, but I can't be asked to wait until January. I just want to start now. So I'm starting now. And that can be said actually with my channel as a whole, because I saw like in YouTube Studio, or like it was an email or something. It was like, oh, it's your channel's birthday. Happy birthday, channel. You know what I mean? It's an inanimate object. But it made me think, that's an annoying thing. I hope when I swallow my own spit, and it's disgusting, but I do it because obviously you're speaking and no one's replying to you, so it's just you on a like fucking unraveled like, going off for ages, and you can't really stop to like take a sip of water or Prosecco. I don't drink, but you can't really stop. So then sometimes you occasionally got to be like, and just like swallow your entire, you know, let me not be just, you know, spit, saliva. So you got to do that. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, the channel, the birthday. Which is, yeah, so that's kind of an example of how I get the spark of wanting to start something or do something around like just before Christmas, because this was born just before Christmas, like the 22nd of December. So like, and now this has been born just before Christmas, and that's purely coincidence, you know. That's purely by chance. Anyway, how long are we going to go? You know, 16 minutes. You know what I mean? 16 minutes. I'm already thinking, should I wrap it now? You know what I mean? This isn't hard. I just got to do this every day. And hopefully, there'll be the occasional thing I'll see and I'll be like, oh, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Especially with football coming around more. Because I don't really want to do like a full-on football chatty thing. Got a whole separate channel for that. But maybe occasionally I want to try a bit of football. Actually, Liverpool are playing City in like 15 minutes. And I don't know how personal I want to get in terms of if I was at work and my manager pissed me off. Do I want to talk about personal things? That's not like a personal thing like, oh my God, that's so deep. But like a personal thing, like that type of stuff. Or do I just want to talk about general stuff like sports and what's going on in the world? Or do I just want to say whatever? I don't know. Give me a few hundred eps and we'll see how this turns out. Kind of inspired, well, not really inspired, well, kind of. Not really, because he's not doing anything like it. He's not doing like a daily thing. But Dean Hebsher's podcast, the Clean Hamster podcast, where he just kind of sits and talks to himself, and it's just kind of like a thing where he just kind of chats about whatever he wants to. In that sense, I was kind of like, yeah, like his isn't daily. And actually, I don't think his is weekly. I think his is just sort of like when he fucking feels like it. Which it's usually weekly, but if he wants to stop for like 2-3 weeks, he will. Like, there's no, like he doesn't bound himself to a schedule. And difference is though, he's like an actual comedian, like a stand-up. So he's funny, and that's I feel like the only way to do a successful one-maner, I just made that up, like that's a phrase, is either, in my opinion anyway, be funny, so be a comedian and just be able to talk about stuff and just make funniness about it, whether you're pulling from life experience things, talking about your stories of your life, or just talking about, you know, just saying funny shit about stuff that everyone seen about the world, but you've got the funny opinion on it. Or be like smart, offer some knowledge. You know, you're talking about like, I don't know, you're like a mental health podcast, or you're like a fitness thing, and you're, you know, knowledge or funny. What are you offering? And at the moment, I've got nothing to offer. I'd probably lean more the comedic side, but that would require being funny, and you know, so we are lacking a major aspect of what is required, but hopefully that will, I don't know, I don't really know, I don't know what I'm hoping for really, a miracle, but that's all, yeah, this, what was that called again? A podcast a day keeps the dark shit away. Fucking sick, man. Probably end up talking about movies a lot here, actually. I didn't mention that, but real big fan of movies, and movies you don't want to make a review on. Like, what's the movie that came out recently that I would talk about here but I wouldn't make a review on? Maybe like The Banshees. I didn't like it that much, actually. No, there wasn't many great movies that came out this year. Anyway, 1917, the film, is currently where we're at. So feels like a good place I don't know what I'm doing. Feels like a good place to draw a line in the sand. The war is over. I don't know if the war ends in that film, actually. I have seen it, but I don't think the war actually ends. They just successfully complete a mission. Anyway, I've said anyway so many times, like I'm gonna actually stop, and now I actually am. Yeah.
With the kids, and they have like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,